The election results are in. Donald Trump will be the 47th president of the United States, winning in a sweeping victory. His transition already starting with closed-door meetings and phone calls as they prepare to take office.
But before his return to the White House begins, the question remains, what becomes of his remaining federal and state criminal cases and civil cases against him? And joining us now for Better Call Brian is ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmire himself. Brian, good to see you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, so let's start with these federal criminal cases, the election interference case and the classified document case. What happens now?
So both cases are in different positions right now, whether it be after the Supreme Court decided how to rule on the immunity of a president and they're reevaluating that, or a case being dismissed. But ultimately, as the president-elect, Donald Trump may have the ability to actually have these cases dismissed altogether because he runs the DOJ. But according to ABC News reporting, Jack Smith is already revisiting some of these cases based on the policy of the DOJ that a sitting president can't be prosecuted. And so the DOJ and Jack Smith may actually wind down or dismiss the cases on their own before this issue even comes up in January.
Okay, let's look at these state cases. We got the Stormy Daniels hush money case, the Georgia election case. Is this different? Does something different happen with them?
Very different. So how Georgia and New York runs their cases is very different than the federal government, and there are different policies as to who you can and cannot prosecute. And so for the New York case, we're talking about a sentencing that's about to happen in November 26th. I think there'll be some legal arguments there to push it back probably into the period of January and beyond when Donald Trump is the sitting president, not just a president-elect, and that might cause some confusion, might cause some issues there. But there might also just be the sentiment of just sentence him. He's not going to get jail time. I don't think any experts thought he was going to get jail time, probably even less so now that he's the president-elect. The Georgia case, a little bit more unique. Now, we've seen cases in the past, if you look back to like 96, 94 of President Clinton when he was sued civilly. This is a case now where a president is being sued criminally. This may either go all the way up to the Supreme Court to see whether or not it's constitutional for a sitting president to be prosecuted. The Georgia one, I think, is the more hairier one, and that has more questions than all the others.
All right, let's talk about the state civil cases, which includes the E. Jean Carroll defamation case and the civil fraud case that's brought by the New York Attorney General. Will he have to pay the $434 million in damages?
So again, going back to that civil case that Clinton went through in Clinton v. Jones, they basically said that civil cases can be on pause while a president is sitting and doing his duty. That may be an argument that I think that the Donald Trump's team may raise, but at the posture of these three cases, he's lost all of them. He's in the process of an appeal. So I think he has a greater incentive in those civil cases to say, I'm going to continue to fight them because he wants to be alleviated from them. He doesn't want to have to pay, whether it be now or 4 years from now. So I think he'll still participate in that in some way, shape, or form.
Is there any chance that these cases could come back in 4 years when he's no longer president, once he's served his 4 years as president?
So extremely unlikely, especially when you talk about the federal cases, just in terms of the policies of the DOJ and how Jack Smith is reportedly saying that he's looking to wind down or dismiss this case. I mean, from a legal standpoint, unlikely, but from a procedural standpoint, think about it. Is there going to be another DOJ or Attorney General who's going to try to revitalize these allegations 4 years afterwards to go after the former president? Highly unlikely. The state cases, for the most part, are already resolved. And that Georgia case is still a major question mark, but I think ultimately that may get paused or dismissed altogether.
A lot of questions indeed. All right, ABC News contributor Brian Buckmire. Brian, good to see you, and thanks again.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.